Good morning, guys. So today we are going to understand what is Git stash. Today we are going to understand what is Git stash command and when we are going to use this Git stash command. Assume that, guys, you are working on one Java class. You are working on one Java class. In this Java class, there is one M1 method is available. Okay, and there is some M2 method is available. M1 method is available and M2 method is available in this Java class. Now, manager assigned morning at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, task assigned for you. So that the task is at 9 a.m. The task number 320 assigned for you. Okay, you are working as a Java developer in that team, and there is a Java class in the project. Manager assigned one task for you. Assigned task 320 for you at morning 9 a.m. Then you started working on that task. Few code changes already done. In M1 method. So the task is related to some modifications related to the M1 method. So you made the code changes inside that M1 method. You made the code changes in the M1 method. So your task is not completed as of now. You are in the middle of the code changes. So 9 o'clock the task assigned for you. You started working on that task and a few code changes already done in the M1 method. You are in the middle. Task is not completed. Note that point. Task is not completed. Then what happened? Around 12:30 p.m. Manager assigned task 321 and told high priority. And manager told high priority. This task is related to M2 method. This task is related to M2 method. Manager told that. So at 12:30, manager assigned task 321 and told high priority. First complete task 321 and then work on task 320. This is related to M2 method. You understand the scenario? So morning at 9 o'clock, manager assigned task 320 for you and you started working on that task and you started code changes. The code changes you are making in the M1 method. Then at 12:30, manager assigned task 321 and they told that it is high priority task. So first we need to complete 321. Once 321 changes are committed, then we need to work on task 320. So this is the new task that is related to M2 method. Are you guys able to understand my scenario?
Yes, Ashok.
It's simple, guys. You are watching one interesting movie in your home. You are sitting in the hall. You are watching one interesting movie. Movie is going on. Half of the movie is completed. Then suddenly your mother called you and asked you to bring one milk packet from the shop. Then what you will do?
Pause the movie and bring.
You are watching one serious movie by sitting in your home. Very interesting scene is going on. You are in the middle of that scene. All of a sudden your mother called you and asked to bring one milk packet from the shop. Then what you will do?
Shout.
You will pass the movie. Then you will go to the shop, bring the milk packet, give to your mother. Then you will continue your movie. Yes or no? Can you see the same scenario here also? You are working on one task the task number is 320. You are in the middle of that task, still the task is not completed. Manager has assigned another priority task for you. Manager has assigned another priority task for you. So first you need to complete this priority task. First you need to complete the priority task. After the priority task is completed, then you need to work on the first task which you have already started. Are you able to follow me?
Yes.
If you understand this scenario, then only you will understand that stash command. Can anyone tell me the scenario here? Can anyone repeat the scenario? Can you read the scenario? Guys, come on, make it fast. Can anyone read the scenario?
Hi, sir.
Yeah,
Tarun
hi.
here. So it's just like you're watching a movie and somebody just came in and asked you to put a different movie. You're just like, you just removed that screen and came to the new screen. Once this is done, you're going back to that screen.
Yes, so same thing that we are going to do here. But the problem is, here understand the problem. In the M1 method, we are working on the M1 method that is related to the first task. Inside the M1 method, we have implemented some logic. In the M1 method, we have implemented some logic here, okay? But that logic is not completed. We have implemented, we have done some changes in the M1 method. Some code, some lines of code I have written in the M1 method. My code is not completed. But what manager is asking? Complete the 321 task, which is related to M2 method. Now, when I'm going to make the code changes in the M2 method, I will complete the M2 method logic. Then I will commit M2 method changes. But when I want to commit M2 method changes, M1 method changes also will be committed, right? Because it is in the same file. It is in the same file. So M1 method, I have done some code changes in the M1 method, but those changes are not fully completed. I'm in the middle of the code changes. Now manager told me to stop the work on the M1, first complete the M2. So when I am going to work on the M2, in the M1 method, some changes already available. Those changes I cannot commit because it is fully not completed. Those changes I cannot remove because the 3 hours of time I spent to make those code changes. Okay, then if you want to commit only M2 method changes, then what about M1 method changes? Both are in the same Java file. So if you commit this Java file, M1 method changes and M2 method changes also will be committed. Are you able to understand the problem? Guys, are you able to understand the problem?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I have
Yes,
done the code changes in the M1 method that is related to first task now. Okay, I'm in the middle of the first task. Manager told me to stop the work on the first task and told me to work on the second task. For the first task, I have done some code changes in the M1 method. That task is not completed, not tested. They told me to stop the work on the M1. They told me to work on the M2 method, which is related to task number 321, which is high priority. Now I need to complete the changes related to M2 method and I need to commit only M2 method changes first. That is related to task number 321. After M2 changes are committed, then I need to complete the M1 pending changes and I need to commit the M1 changes also. But the problem is M1 method already we have done half of the work. But when we are going to work on the M2 and when we are going to commit the M2 changes, M1 changes also will be committed, but we should not do that. We should not do that because those changes are fully not completed, testing also not completed. In this scenario, we are going to use git stash command. In this scenario, we are going to use git stash command. So you are in the middle of some work. Manager told me to pass that work and work on the new task, commit the changes related to the new task, commit the changes related to the priority task. Once the priority task changes committed, then you work on your previous task. So in this scenario, we are going to work with git stash command. Sir, what this git stash command is going to do? So 9 o'clock I have started my work. My work is related to M1 method. I have done some code changes in the M1 method. But at 12:30, they told me to stop the work on the M1 method. They told me to work on the M2. So before going to do the work on the M2 method, here I am going to execute one command called git stash command. I'm going to execute one command called git stash command. What is the purpose of this git stash command? Whatever the code changes we have done, those changes will be stored to one temporary area, will be removed from the working tree. So M1 changes will be removed from the working tree, will be stored into one temp area when you use git stash command. So M1 changes will be removed from the class. Whatever the changes we have done from 9 o'clock to 12:30, in the working tree, the code changes are available for M1 method, but I don't want to commit now because I want to work on M2. So whatever the code changes I have done for M1 will be stored into one temp area when you work on git stash. Then happily you work on the M2 method. You complete your M2 method changes and you commit your M2 method to the Git repository because priority task is completed. When the priority task is completed, we want to work on the M1 back. Then we are going to execute another command called git stash apply. We are going to execute another command called git stash apply command. What is the purpose of git stash apply? Get the changes of M1 method from the temp area back to working tree. So git stash command is used to save working tree changes to the temp area when you want to park the work and when you want to do the priority work. Once your priority task changes are committed, then you can get the changes back from the temp area by using git stash apply command. Are you guys able to understand the scenario? What is the purpose of git stash command and when do we go for git stash command? What is the purpose of git stash command? It is used to store working tree changes to the temp area and make a working tree clean. It is used to store working tree changes to the temp area and make working tree clean. So in order to do this, we will execute a command called git stash command. When you want to get the changes back, you are going to work with git stash apply. Git stash command and git stash apply command we are going to use. What is the use case? In which scenario we need to use this git stash and git stash apply? So scenario also we discussed here. Okay. So 9 o'clock, sorry. 9 a.m. task 320 assigned for you. You started working on that work. Few code changes already done in the M1 method and the task is not completed. So 12:30 p.m. manager assigned another task and told that high priority. First complete task 321 and then work on the task 320. This task is related to M2 method. To commit the M2 changes, M2 changes, when we try to commit M2 changes, M1 changes also will be committed. M1 changes also will be committed because both methods are in the same file. But the requirement is we need to commit only M2 changes to central repo first. Here we can use git stash command before starting m2 method changes. I hope you got the clarity. What is the purpose of git stash command and when we are going to use this git stash command? Read it once again. What is git stash command? It is used to store working tree changes to temp area and make working tree clean. Git stash apply. Use case. 9 o'clock they assigned one task for you. You are started working on that task, which is M1 method. Your task is not completed. Then you are in the middle of the task. You are in middle. You are in middle of the task. Okay, task is not completed. 12:30 p.m. manager assigned another task for you, which is high priority. So first you need to complete the task 321 and then work on the task 320. This task is related to M2 method. As both methods are in the single file, if you try to commit the changes of M2, M1 changes also will be committed. But I should not do that. First, I need to commit only M2 changes, then I need to commit M1. So before going to start the work on the M2 method, you need to remove the changes of M1 from the working tree. That's where we will use a command called git stash command. So what will happen when you go for git stash command? Whatever the changes available in the working tree, those changes will be stored into stash area. Those changes will be stored into stash area, which is nothing but temporary area. Once your priority work is completed, then you can come back to your old changes by using git stash apply command. Let us do this with the practical scenario now. So I'm going to do the practicals on this git stash command. Before going to do the practicals, are you able to understand theoretically what is git stash? Why we are going for git stash? Guys, are you able to understand git stash command?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. What is the purpose of git stash command? What is the purpose of git stash command? Come on.
To clean up the working repository.
Yes. So whatever the changes are there in the working tree, you store those working tree changes to the temp area and make your working tree clean. For that, we are going to use git stash command. Okay. So now I am going to my git repository and I will make some code changes related to first task. Okay. I'm taking my REST controller. That is fine. Yes. In this REST controller, I'm adding one method. Public void m1 method. Public void m1 method. Inside this m1 method, I will write some integer I is equal to 10, some integer j is equal to 20. I am writing some logic. Okay. This is related to task 320. This is related to task 320. I am in the middle of the task. I have started my work. My work is not completed. Now, if you go here and check the status of your working tree, M1 method changes will be available. Okay. If you go to the working tree and if you check the status of the working tree, then we can see that git status. So that REST controller file is modified here. That means M1 changes are available in that file. M1 changes are available in that file. So I started doing work on this task, but all of a sudden, my task is not completed. All of a sudden, manager assigned another task for me. So if I work on the another task directly, if I commit, these changes also will be committed. M2 changes also will be committed. But M1 method is not tested. I should not commit. and I cannot remove this code because 3 hours I spent to implement this M1. If I remove that code, my 3 hours efforts will be wasted. If I commit, existing functionality may not work because this method is not tested. So that's why in this scenario, we are going to execute a command called git stash command. Saved working tree and index state on the release code changes. Okay. So my code in the release branch, I am doing my work. I have executed git stash command. Now go to this Java class and can you see that M1 method is available, M1 method is not available? Guys,
Not available.
M1 method
Not
is available or M1 method is not available?
Not
Not
available.
available, sir.
M1 method is not available. It has removed that method. Why it has removed that method? Because we have executed a
Git
command
stash.
called
Git
git
stash.
stash command. Then I'm going to work on the M2 method. So let me write one M2 method here. Public void M2. Okay. This M2 method, I'm writing some logic for this. This M2 method is related to task 321. Now my M2 method is completed. Now I want to commit only M2. Clear git status. Yes, the file is available. You can check in the GUI mode. Git GUI. Git GUI. Which file is committing? Which method is committing? Now, can you see what is the change that we are committing? Only M2. So do we have the M1 method here or we don't have the M1 method here?
Only M2 method.
Only M2 method is available. You can commit from here. Commit. So task 321 completed. Task 321 completed. Let's do the commit. Okay, file should be added to staging area. Add the file to the staging area. Task 321 completed. Let's do the commit. Commit is completed. I need to do the push. Click on push. Okay, push to the release branch. Now pushing the code, credentials it might ask. I removed the credentials, so it is trying to push to the origin branch. Yeah, sign in with your browser. Credential it is asking me. Yeah, I logged in the browser. Commit failed. Why the commit is failed, guys? There are some other changes available in the repository. That's why my commit is failed. My push is failed. So if the push is failed, then I need to take the latest code changes from the repository. How to take the latest code changes, guys? By using a command
Git
called
pull by using git pull command.
by using git pull
Git pull
command,
command.
we are going to take the latest code changes. Yes. After taking the latest code changes, then you reload that file. Yes. M2 method is available. That is fine now. I need to do the git push now. Let us do the git push to the release branch. Yes. My git push is completed successfully. Let us go to the repository and verify in the release branch that M2 method is added or not. Go to the release branch. I have done the commit to the release branch. Now go to the main, go to this REST controller. Yes, I'm in the REST controller. Can you see M2 task is completed? Only M2 method is committed. What about the M1 method we have started first? M1 method is available or M1 method is not available?
Not available.
Not available. So with this, my priority task is completed. Once the priority task is completed, I need to get the work of the previous task. Okay, priority task is completed, then I need to continue my M1 method changes. So how to get the previous changes we have already done?
Git stash apply.
Git stash apply
Apply.
command. So when I execute git stash apply command, those changes came back to my method. Now can you see M1 method changes came back?
Yes.
M1 method changes came back now. You can write the logic that you want for the M1 method, whatever the requirement is there. Based on that, you can write the method. You can save the changes. Now you can commit this also. Git GUI. You can check this. M1 method only. M1 method changes we are going to commit now. Add the file to the staging area. So you can say task 320 completed now. Task 320 completed, then commit the changes and push the changes. So I'm pushing to the release branch now. Successful. My push operation completed to the release branch. Go to this one and refresh the file. You can see M1 method changes also we are able to push. So I hope you got the scenario. What is git stash command and when to use git stash command? When you are in middle of some work, if some priority task is assigned for you, then you can use git stash command. What that git stash command is going to do? Git stash command is going to save working tree changes in the temp area, and you can get the changes back from the temp area by using git stash apply command. All right. Next one. What is the difference between git fetch command and git pull command? What is the difference between
When I do
fetch
the git
versus
stash, it is removing the
pull?
whole file, sir.
What is the difference between git fetch command and git pull command? Already we know what is the purpose of pull command. Can you guys tell me what is the purpose of pull command?
Take the latest changes.
Yes. Git
Latest
pull
code
command
changes.
to get the latest changes from central repository. Git pull, download latest code changes from central repository. Okay. So when we will, what is the difference between clone, fetch and pull? What is the difference between git clone?
Clone means it will
Copy the entire project to the
Clone means first time we are fetching the entire projects from the central to the local.
Yes. So first time we are going to download the entire project from the central repository to our system. So you newly joined in the project, your team is already working on the project. You need to download the changes from central repository to your system. Then you will use git pull command. Download latest code changes from the central repository. For that, we will go for git pull command. So when we are working with git repository, you need to understand that here working tree will be available. Here local repository will be available, and here central repository will be available. You got my point? So when you are working with the git repository, this is our central repo. What is the meaning of central repo, guys?
GitHub repository.
GitHub repository that we created in the github.com, and this is our local repository which will be available in our system, and this is our working tree. So what is the difference between working tree, local repo and central repo?
Working tree means the what I've used like git init when I run the git init.
Yes,
It will
where you
create
are
the
going to
working
do
tree.
the project, now, that will be done. Okay, where your project is available, that is called working tree. Then what is local repository?
Where we are making the changes in our
Where we are making our, once your work is done in the working tree, we will save that changes in the local repository that will be available only in our system.
Local storage
Okay.
device.
Local repository means in our system only the git repository will be maintained with all the codes, whatever the changes we have done. Then what is central repository?
Repository created on the GitHub.
What is the central repository?
The repository created on the GitHub.
Yes, where the project will be available. Where the project will be available. Okay. Now here we can use git to clone command. What this clone command will happen? We are going to download this complete project into our system. So this working tree and local repository will be available in our system only. Okay, repository means when you use git to pull command, then what will happen? If you use a git pull command, your changes will go to central repository to local repository to working tree, your changes will come. That means directly I can say when you use git pull command, the code changes will come from central repository to working tree directly. Git pull command. What is the purpose of the git pull? If you want to download the latest code changes from central repository to our working tree, then we are going to use a command called git pull command. So directly it will merge your changes. Into your working tree. There is a problem here, right? There is a problem here. What is the problem here? What is the problem here?
Latest code not be saved in the local repository.
No, that's it will go to the local, then only it will come to the working tree.
It has some
Chances
conflicts.
of getting conflict.
When you go with this now, there is a chance of getting the conflict. There is a chance of getting the conflict. Why there is a chance of getting the conflict?
And some other developer can push the code
Correct.
to the central
Correct.
repository.
So now, whenever you are working with the git pull command, directly the git pull command will download the changes from the central repository and will merge the changes with your working tree. So directly it will merge the changes with the working tree. If there are any local changes available in the working tree, there is a chance of getting the git conflict problem. There is a chance of getting the git conflict problem. So what is git pull? Download latest code changes from the central repository and merge with the working tree directly. So what is git pull is doing? It is going to download latest code changes from the central repository and merge with the working tree directly. Okay, so there is a chance of getting conflict. There is a chance of getting conflicts. Direct automation. When you execute git pull command, it will download the latest code changes from the central repository and it will merge with the working tree directly. So there is a chance of getting conflicts. In the other hand, we are having a command called git fetch command. What is the purpose of this git fetch command? When you use git fetch command from the central repository, changes will go to local repository. It will not merge with the working tree. Whenever you execute fetch command, it will search in the central repository. Are there any code changes available? It will take the code changes from the central repository and it will update in the local repository. From the local repository, changes will not come to working tree. It is a safe operation because we can avoid the conflict here. We can review. Before merging the changes, we can see what all the changes available in the file. Okay. When you go for local repository, it will download the changes from the central repository to local, but it will not merge to the working tree. We can review. Whenever the git fetch is executed, we can review what files are modified in the central repository. Then we can check what files are modified in the working tree. then we can make sure that the changes are not having the conflict. Then once your review is completed, then to get the changes from the local repository to working tree, we need to execute a command called git merge command. When you execute git merge command, then the changes will come from local repository to working tree. So git pull is a complete automated command. Directly it will download the changes from the central repository to working tree. Directly it will merge the changes of new changes available in the central repository to working tree. There is a chance of getting conflict problem. But when you go for git fetch command, directly it will not merge with your working tree. First it will check what all the new changes available in the central, update those changes to the local repository. It will list down what all the files modified. You check what files modified in your working tree, what files modified in the central repository by using git fetch command. So if your files are having some common files are modified, then you take care of those changes by saving in the separate file properly. Then you execute git merge command. When you execute git merge command, then it will download the changes from the local repository to your working tree. So git pull means direct download and merge with the working tree. Git fetch means first download the changes to the local repository. Then after review is completed, then you can merge the changes from the local repository to working tree. So which is a safe operation?
Git fetch.
Which is a safe operation here, guys?
Git fetch.
Git fetch.
Git fetch is a safe operation. Why git fetch is a safe operation?
To avoid the conflict.
We can avoid the conflict. Okay. So now see here, git pull command, download latest code changes from the central repository and merge with the working tree directly. There is a chance of getting conflicts in here. There is a chance of getting conflicts here. Then what is the purpose of this git fetch command? What is the purpose of git fetch command? Download latest code changes from central repository to local repository. It will not merge changes into working tree.
Right.
It will not merge the changes to working tree. It will only download. Okay, from the central to local. After git fetch, we need to execute the merge command. After git fetch is completed, we need to execute git merge command to merge changes from local repo to working tree. So that means when you are talking about git pull is equal to git fetch plus git merge. Whatever the git fetch and git merge commands are doing, single pull command will do the same operation. Read the difference between git fetch command and git pull command. Git pull command will download latest code changes from the central repository and merge with the working tree directly. There is a chance of getting conflicts here. The next one is git fetch command. Download the latest code changes from central repository to local. It will not merge the changes into working tree. Okay. So after fetch command, we need to execute merge command. Please read this.
Ashok, just checking if we can use the alternate way here. So what if we stash the changes and pull?
Yes. Sorry, can you come again?
No, I know this is the best approach here. Just checking an alternate way. So to avoid the conflict, so can I stash first and then pull the changes and then restash?
If you go for stash, when you do the stash apply, again conflict will occur.
Okay, if we make the changes at the same time. Right. Okay, got it.
If you do the stash apply, again the problems will come. So here the advantage with the fetch command, you will understand what files are modified in the central repository, what files are modified in the working tree. If both are same, then you can take the backup of your working tree changes and you can merge the central repository changes.
Ashok, here
Guys,
one
1
minute.
minute, 1 minute.
Okay.
So guys, are you able to understand the difference between git pull command and git fetch command?
Here one question, Ashok. So,
Yes.
so in this case, we are working with central repository, local repo, and working tree. So the staging area will not come into picture, right? In this case.
No, staging area comes into picture only when you are committing.
Git add and git commit.
Yes.
Okay.
This is pull and fetch, directly download from the central to local.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Ashok,
The Git
Let
for
me
the
show you
doing
like
practically.
if we
Wait. Let me show you the practically so that you
okay.
will get the clarity. Okay. So I'm going to my REST controller. I'm going to my REST controller. So Ravindra, are you in the class? He's having the collaborator access. I think he's not there. Guys, someone can act as a collaborator for me. Fine, I will act as a collaborator, no issue. Now I have here a file, guys. So let me go to this Docker file. Sorry. This is my repository. Let me switch back to my account. I'm switching back to my account. Go to this one. Release branch is available. I'm making my code changes in the release branch. Go to this Java file. Go to the main Java Ashok IT, my REST controller. In this REST controller, inside the M2 method, I am adding some code changes. Inside the M2 method, I am adding some code changes. So I am writing string name is equal to Ashok. Okay. I have added some code changes. One variable I have added in the M2 method. Okay. Commit this change. Directly I have committed to the central repository. Now in the local M2 method does not have that change. Now I will go and execute a command called git pull command. When I execute git pull command, what will happen, guys?
We'll get conflict issue.
Why conflict?
No conflict. Local changes will come in the.
First you check, is there any local changes available?
remote changes is
Do I have any changes in the local?
comes into
No, sir, no.
There are no changes in the
No.
local. I have not done any code changes in the local. Now I want to download the changes from central repository to local. So what is the command I will use?
git pull.
Git
pull.
pull. So when I execute git pull command, what is going to happen?
Going to download all the changes to local
Yes.
All the
repository.
changes
Whatever the
So
latest code
working
changes
tree.
available,
the working
whatever the
Merge
latest
into
code
working tree.
changes available in the central repository, it will download those changes and it will add the changes to my working tree directly. It will download the changes and it will add the changes to working tree directly. If you have some common changes in the central and local, then conflict will occur. But here no common changes available. So directly my changes are downloaded and merged those changes into my working tree. Which file having the latest changes? Welcome REST controller Java file modified in the central repository. That file changes are downloaded into my local. That file changes are downloaded into my local directly. Okay, so in this scenario, there is a chance of getting the conflict. So when you go for, but conflict is not coming because in my local changes are not available. In my working tree changes are not available. That's why git pull is able to download the changes from the central repository to working tree directly. Now let me go for another change here. In the same method, I am writing another variable string institute is equal to some Ashoka. So this is the change I have done. Another variable I have added in the M2 method. Commit this change. Now, so central repository having some code changes, I want to download, but not directly. If I execute pull command, directly those changes will be downloaded and will be merged with the working tree. Directly they will be downloaded from the central repository and they will be merged with the working tree. I don't want to do that. So for that, what I am going to do, I'm executing a command called git fetch command. I'm executing a command called git fetch command. When I execute git fetch command, it is telling that, boss, there are some changes in the central repository. Those changes are downloaded to your local, but not into the working tree. Okay. Can you see in the working tree, institute variable is available or institute variable not available?
Not available.
What is the recent change I have done in the repository? I have added a variable Ashok ID, institute variable Ashok ID I have added. So that change is coming to the working tree. When I execute git fetch command, the change is coming or change is not coming. Changes, if you are able to see this kind of data, that means there are some changes in the central repository. Those changes are downloaded to your local, but they are not merged the changes into your working tree. Whatever the changes you have done, the changes downloaded to your local repository, but those changes are not merged with the working tree. So when you get this kind of message, that means some changes available in the central, those changes are downloaded. Now, when you want to merge into working tree, then you need to execute a command called git merge command. So when you execute the git merge command, the changes are merged into your working tree. Now go to your file and can you see changes are merged into our working tree. So git pull command is a single command that is equal to git fetch plus git merge. And one more thing, after merging is completed, if you execute git fetch again, if you execute git fetch again, are we getting any output? No. Why we are not getting any output now?
Because
Already we have taken the updated code.
Already we have taken the latest code from the central. When you execute git fetch command, if you don't get any output, that means there are no changes in the central repository. If you are not getting any output when you execute git fetch command, that means there are no changes available in the central repository. So when you execute git fetch, if you get some output, that means there are some changes in the central repository. Those changes will be downloaded to your local, but it will not merge the changes into your working tree. To merge the changes to your working tree, you need to use a command called git merge command.
So is there a way to see the changes, Ashok, before merging?
If you want to see the changes in a central repository only, you can see that. You can go to the commit and you can see what are the changes available. Okay.
Okay, but there is no way we can check in the local.
No. Okay. So we understood what is git stash command and why we need to go for these. All are for interview, guys. These questions will be asked in the interview. What is git stash command? What is the difference between fetch command and pull command? And the next one, what is git revert command? Git revert. Git revert. So revert is basically to remove the commit from the central repository. I have done my code commit to the central repository. After that, I realized that my commit is not required. I want to remove my commit from the central repository. So for example, manager has assigned one task. Before making any code changes, guys, it's better to do the pull or fetch anything already up to date. So whatever the changes available in the central, those changes are available in my local also. Now I can start working with my new changes. I am working on another task, public void M3. Okay. So manager assigned one task for me. I am working on that task. This task is related to M3 method, task 325. Okay. So manager has assigned a task for me. The task number is 325. In order to complete this task, I am working on M3 method. I started creating M3 method. So I have done some logic in the M3 method. Okay. After my task is completed, I will go to this git bash, git status. So that file is modified. You can commit from the git bash or you can commit from the git GUI also. Anything is fine. Okay. So which one you want me to do? Git bash or git GUI?
Git bash.
Git bash.
Git bash. Git add dot. That file is added to staging area. Yes, if you want, you can unstage also. Now I want to commit. Git commit. So task 325 changes. So why are you doing the commit? You need to give the meaningful message for that. Git commit. Then I have done git push. Okay, my changes will be committed from local repository to central repository. Let's go to our git bash and go to release branch and refresh. Now can you see my M3 method is committed, task 325?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Yes, it is committed. It is committed. But after some time, manager told that, boss, the task 325 is invalid task. We should not work on that. We should not keep the changes. Morning, he assigned me one task called 325 related to one bug. I have fixed that bug. But in the evening, manager told me, Ashok, 325 task is not required. We no need to do the code changes for that. But already I have completed that task and I have committed that task to the repository. Now manager is telling me to remove the code changes that we committed for the task 325. If it is one file, that is okay. If you modified it 10 files and if you commit all the 10 files as part of that task, then we need to remove the commit from the remote repository, that is central repository. So whatever the changes we have committed for the task 325, it may be in one file or it may be in multiple files. We need to remove all those changes from our central repository. So whenever we do the commit, one commit ID will be generated. In the release branch, just now I have done one commit. 1 minute ago, I have done one commit. When I click on this commit ID, it will show me what all the changes I have done. As part of this commit, I have added M3 method. Now manager is telling that M3 method is not required. Go to the release branch and see the commit that I have done. 2 minutes ago, task 325 changes I have committed. In this commit, I have added M3 method. I have modified one file. Sometimes we modify multiple files also. Then this commit is not required. Manager is telling that this commit is not required. Then take this commit ID and execute git revert command. What is the purpose of git revert command? It is used to remove the changes from remote repository based on the commit ID. It is used to remove the changes we have committed. It is used to remove the changes we have committed from remote repository based on the commit ID. So I have done one commit, I have modified some files and I have committed those files to the remote repository. Now manager is telling that your changes are not required. Your changes are not required. Whatever that you have committed, it's not required. You remove your changes from the repository. For that, we will use revert. Git revert that commit ID, whatever that you have committed, that commit ID you need to supply. Are you guys able to understand? It is very common scenario in the real time. We have done some commit, later point of time we realized that our changes are not required. Then we can go and do the revert operation. Git revert with commit ID. So based on that commit ID, it will identify what changes we have committed, and we want to remove all those changes. So the changes can be in one file or the changes can be available in multiple files. So in order to remove the changes that we have committed, we are going to use a command called git revert command with the commit ID. Are you able to follow me?
Yes.
Yes. Now I have done one commit in the branch called release. In that release branch, I have added M5 method, something like that. Open that REST controller. I have already committed M3 method, sorry. 325 task M3 method I have committed. Commit ID is available. Now I want to revert my commit. Observe carefully. Git revert. We need to use the commit ID that we have done. This is the commit ID. 4 minutes ago, I have committed the change with this ID. Copy that commit ID and use that commit ID with the revert command. Use that commit ID with the revert command. Yes. Git revert commit ID. Enter. So it is asking to give some message, a editor opened. So simply you can press escape :WQ, right and to it. Release task changes, as reverted. One file is changed. Then you check the status. One commit is there. Okay. After doing the revert, you need to do the git commit -m. Task 325 changes reverted. Task 325 changes reverted. Then do the git push. That's it. Whenever you do the revert based on the commit ID, then after removing the changes, you need to commit and you need to push. Then your previous changes will be removed from the central repository. Now refresh it. Now can you see that a task M3 method is available or M3 method is not available?
Not available.
Not available. So we are able to revert our changes. So what is the purpose of revert? It is used to remove the changes we have committed from the remote repository based on the commit ID. So after executing git revert, it will open editor. After executing git revert command,
While pushing the code also we are getting that kind of editor, sir. What we should do?
just to press :WQ. After executing git revert command, it will open editor. Then press :WQ, escape +:WQ to close the editor. The people who attended
commit
Linux
ID
classes,
from where we are getting, sir? Commit ID, how to get the commit ID?
from the commit history, you can get the commit ID, sir. Git log command will tell you the commit ID, or if you go to central repository also, you can get the commit ID. If you go to the central repository, it will give you all the commit IDs that you have done. All the commits that you have done, it will give you. 74 commits happened. This is the latest commit I have done. If you click on the commits, it will show you the commit ID. You can see what is your commit and take that commit ID and you can do the revert. Got my point?
Yes.
Yes. So what is the purpose of git revert? Git revert is used to remove the changes we have committed from remote repository based on the commit ID. Git revert commit ID. After executing git revert command, it will open editor, then press escape +:WQ to close. It's basically like a VA editor, guys. Some people already attended the Linux classes. So it is just like a VA editor. You need to close that. After this, execute git commit +git push to publish reverted changes to publish revert operation to central repo. If you just execute revert, changes will not be removed. After executing the revert command, you need to execute git commit and git push so that your changes, whatever you removed, then the latest will be go to the central repository when you execute git commit and git push. Okay. Git revert is available. It is used to remove the changes we have committed from remote repository based on the commit ID. Git
Sir, is it
revert,
possible
commit
to
ID.
commit IDs at a time?
No, sir, one by one.
Sir,
After executing git revert command, it will open editor, then press escape plus colon WQ to close the editor. After this, after revert command,
I can revert other changes also if I have the commit ID, right, sir?
Yes,
like
you can do
if
that.
I am working as a tech lead, and then
you can do that,
I
sir.
have to
You
commit
can revert
some.
anybody changes based
All
on
right.
the commit ID.
Sure.
After this, after the revert is executed, after revert command execution, after git revert command execution, we need to execute git commit plus git push to publish revert operation to central repository. So whatever that we have committed previously, based on the commit ID, we can remove those changes from the central repository.
So one question, Ashok.
In the interview, they will ask this question. I have done one commit by mistake. So many files are modified. 10 files I have modified and I have committed by mistake. How can I remove my commit changes from the central repository? Then you need to tell, for every commit, one commit ID will be generated. Based on that commit ID, we can do the git revert operation. Revert operation means remove the changes from the central repository. So whenever you execute git revert with the commit ID, it will identify what all the changes we have committed. It will remove those changes from our file. Then we can commit and we can push so that our revert operation will be published to the central repository. Okay, good. Next one. Yeah, I will take the doubts, guys. I will give the time for doubts. Next one, there is a option called git fork option is available. What is git fork? So it's simple. Git fork, nothing but there are so many git accounts available in the git repository. Now assume that there is one account available. So this is my account, which is Ashok IT School GitHub account available. In this GitHub account, there is one git repository, Spring Boot project, Spring Boot app, git repo. Spring Boot application git repository available in my account. So your name is Raju. You are the student or you are outside person. You are having Raju git account. This is Ashok IT git account. Right? So I am managing Ashok IT git account. You are Raju. You are having your own git account. You are not a student of Ashok IT or you are a student of Ashok IT. That doesn't matter. Leave it. So I have one project in my GitHub account. You want to work on the same kind of project. You want to work on the same kind of project. Can you do the commit to my repository directly? From your account, can you do the code commit to my repository?
No, sir.
No,
No,
because
sir.
you are not a collaborator.
Yeah.
You are not a collaborator. So that's why you cannot do the code commits to my repository. Even though my repository is public. Public means you can only see, that's it. But you cannot commit the code changes to my repository because you are not a collaborator. But now you want to work on the same project. Now you want to work on the same project. Whatever the code that I have in my project, in my GitHub account, you want the same project in your Git account. You want the same repository in your Git account for your practice purpose. Then what you can do is you can execute one operation called git fork. Whenever you do the git fork, what will happen? My repository will be copied into your GitHub account. Whatever the repository that I have, that repository will be copied into your account. Now you can play with that repository because a copy of repository came to your account. From my account, the repository came to your account when you go for git fork. Are you guys getting my point? I'm not saying about clone. Clone means you will download, but you cannot commit to my repository because you are not my collaborator. So here you found my GitHub account. In my GitHub account, you found my project. that project is useful for you, and you want to take my project and you want to make the code changes according to your requirement, then what you can do? You can just fork my repository. When you fork my repository, the repository copy will be created in your GitHub account. Then Raju can fork my repository. So my repository will be copied into Raju account. Then Raju can do the changes in his account now. Fork means what, guys? Just taking the copy of the repository into your account. So you have seen my repository. So that is useful project for you also. And you want to take my project and you want to modify that project according to your requirement. Then you can fork my repository and you can make some changes in your GitHub repository, because once you fork, that repository will come to your account. Then you are the owner of that repository. You can do the code commits and whatever the operation that you want to do.
Is it possible in real time also?
Sorry?
Is it possible in real time also, this kind of things?
If it is a public, you can do that. If it is a private, you cannot do that.
Can we enable syncing also, Ashok, here? If they make any
Syncing, no.
changes?
Syncing not possible. Only you can copy, that's it.
So in case if you using Git fork, you can copy the code from to Raju account. After you can changes, if you and Raju have done same changes. If you
Why?
intend,
No, sir. If I am doing my changes, it will go to my GitHub account repository. So now these are two different projects, right? Once the Git fork is completed, Raju account is different, my account is different. There is no relation.
Yes.
okay. In that time, we are not facing Git conflict.
Why conflict? Raju will have is now the project is created in the Raju account. Whatever the commits Raju will do, I don't know. It is not affecting my work because it is your project.
Yeah.
He can push in his Git cloud.
Once the Git fork is completed, these are two different Git accounts. There is no relation at all. There is no relation at all. So my changes I will push to my repository. Raju will make the changes. Raju will push the changes to Raju repository. That's it. Instead of Raju creating the project from the scratch, Raju will take my project as a reference. And Raju will make the changes in his repository according to his requirement. If Raju do the code commit, it will not affect on my repository. If I do the commit, it will not affect on the Raju repo. It is just a copy.
So if you make any more updates after taking fork, again he has to fork, or is there any way to get the latest updates?
He can get the latest updates. If you want to get the latest updates, again he has to take as a new fork. New repository will be available for him. He can't download my changes because there is no relation between two accounts, right? These are two different accounts.
Okay.
So you find one project in the GitHub. You want to take the project and you want to make some changes to according to your requirement. Then you can go for the Git fork. Git fork means my repository will be copied into your account. That's it. Then you are owner for your repository. You got my point? Yes.
Sir, in real time, who is responsible to create that collaborators?
DevOps team. Okay. So what is Git fork here? Forking means creating the copy of other Git user repository in our GitHub account. So you found one useful Git repository in the GitHub. You want copy of that repository into your account. Then you will go for Git fork option. Forking means creating copy of other user repository in your GitHub account. Okay. Now, so when you go to any Git repository, okay, when you go for any Git repository, there will be one fork option. Okay, now you can see here, I have my Spring Boot Docker application. How many forks available? How many forks available, guys?
404.
404. That means 400 people has forked my repository to work on that project. Okay, so when you open anybody Git repository, you can see one option called fork option. I cannot fork because it is my repository. I cannot fork. Okay, so if you give your repository URL, then I can do the fork. If I give my repository URL, you can do the fork. So if you click on fork, then that repository will be downloaded into your account. So I'm giving this repository URL for you. So just click on that repository URL, open that in your browser and click on fork. Then the repository will come to your account. Can you guys do that fork now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Just click on that and do the fork. Fork means my repository will be downloaded into your account. Yes. Able to fork? Now you are the owner
Yes,
for that
sir.
forked repository.
I'm able to fork your repository.
Yes. So what is the meaning of fork? Now once forking is completed, check your repositories. Once forking is completed, check your repository that is downloaded into your account.
Yes.
So now if you do any code commit, will it affect on my repository?
No.
No.
No, because
sir.
there is no relation. You are not my collaborator, I am not your collaborator. Your account is different, my account is different.
But we are using CLI based. How can I use fork?
Sir, fork we can't do from CLI, sir. Directly through central repositories, we can do the fork.
Oh.
It is a public.
It is a public.
So to download the code, we have to again import, right, sir, as a Maven project or something to local?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, sir, based on that URL, right?
Correct.
Okay, sir.
Sir, getting the pool and Git repository, this can be done by using Eclipse also, right?
Yes, yes.
So sometime in showing in an Eclipse login error, sir. So
We will
how
see
could
that, sir. We will see. I will work with that repository. When we are working on the project, I will do operations from Eclipse.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So guys, we understood what is Git fork, what is Git revert, what is the difference between fetch and pull, and what is Git stash command, and when we need to go for Git stash, what is Git conflict. We discussed about that, and how to add collaborator also we discussed. So to remove the collaborator, I can go to the settings, I can go to the collaborators. It is asking my password. Then who are the collaborators available? I can delete that also. Yes, now the collaborator is deleted. Now, so Ravindra is a collaborator. Remove the Ravindra from this repository. So Ravindra is deleted from this repository. Now Ravindra don't have the access to my repository. He cannot commit, but he can take the pull. He can take the update because it is a public repository. He can take those changes. All right. And next one, how we are going to do this work in the real time, guys. What is the real time workflow? Real time workflow. So the first thing in the real time, management is going to decide. Management will decide repository server. Example, that we need to go with the GitHub or we need to go with the Bitbucket. GitHub or Bitbucket. So if you know GitHub, that means you know Bitbucket also. If you know Bitbucket, that means you know GitHub also. Both are same because Git bash is common. Whatever the commands we have learned, Git GUI, whatever the Git commands we have learned, same thing will work with the Bitbucket also. I will show you how to work with the Bitbucket as well. It's very simple, just 2 minutes of time, that's it. Because do I need to explain again what is git init command, git status, git commit, git push, git pull, git clone, git add, git stage, git revert?
No need.
Not required. So same commands we are going to use in the Bitbucket also, just the UI will be different. GitHub is managing by Microsoft. Bitbucket is managing by Atlassian company. GitHub is managing by Microsoft and Bitbucket is managing by Atlassian company. The UI is going to be different, but the client software is same. The commands are same for both. Now, let's understand the real-time workflow. In the real time, management will decide the repository server, whether you want to use GitHub or do you want to use Bitbucket. And the next one, management will decide branching strategy. That means how many branches should be available in the Git repository, where the project final code should be available, in which branch the project final code should be available, where we need to keep ongoing development. That means which team should use which branch, deciding that is taken care by management. That is called our branching strategy. So which branches we need to use for which operation, which team should use which branches, development team should use which branch, bug fixing team should use which branch, and where from which branch we need to do the code deployments. Okay, which team should work with, which team should use which branch, that will be decided by the management. That concept is called as branching strategy. Okay, so which version control, which repository we need to use for the project, that will be decided by the management. Management will decide the repository server like GitHub and Bitbucket. Management will decide branching strategy, nothing but which team should use which branch. And once it is decided, we need the Git repository for the project. When we are starting the project development, then development team should send a request to create Git repository to DevOps team with manager approval. In the Jira tool, I have shown you how to send the email to the DevOps team. Okay, so when we are going to start the new project development, for our code integration, one Git repository is required. Development team should send the request to DevOps team to create Git repository. Send request to create Git repository to DevOps team with manager approval. So you need to send one email. In the development team, multiple developers available. One developer will send the email. One developer will send the email to the DevOps team to create a Git repository for our project with the manager approval. Once a Git repository created, we can create the branches based on our requirement. Guys, just read these points one. Guys, here Git repository creation is not our responsibility. DevOps team is going to take care of this repository creation. Once the repository is created, we can create the branches according to our requirement. You can create any number of branches according to our requirement. So once the branches are created, we can integrate the code changes in the repository according to our branching strategy. Once repository created, we can create branches based on our requirement. So as a developer, we will perform code integrations. As a developer, we will perform code integrations plus branches merging according to our requirement. So management will decide repository server. Management will decide branching strategy. Development team should send a request to create Git repository DevOps team with manager approval. So here DevOps team will manage user permissions for the repository. DevOps team will manage user permissions for the repository on the repository. So everybody will not have all the permissions in the repository. If any fresher intents available, they will get only read permission, and the actual developers will get the read plus write permission also. If any fresher is joined, for the fresher immediately they will not give the write permission. They will give only read permission for the repository. Who will manage? That means collaborators, making the collaborators. So that adding the collaborators, managing user permissions, role-based access will be taken care by DevOps team on the repository. Once a Git repository got created, we can create the branches based on our requirement. As a developer, we will perform code integration plus branches merging. That is our duty as part of that. So when there is a production deployment, DevOps team will make code freeze. So in the real time, there is a concept called code freeze concept will be available. Code freeze nothing but they will remove write permission for all the developers. So our project is completely tested. The development completed, project testing is completed, then we are going for production deployment. When we are going for production deployment, before 1 month or before 20 days, code freeze will happen. So DevOps team will make a code freeze. When there is a production deployment, DevOps team will make a code freeze 20 days or 30 days before a production deployment. DevOps team will make code freeze. That means they will remove write permission on the repository. Nobody should commit the code to the repository before 20 days of deployment, because if you do some code commit, if your commit is having some bug, then production deployment will be affected. So that's why whenever there is a code freeze, so they will take a separate branch and they will do the code freeze of that branch. Then you cannot do the code commit to that branch. Basically, master branch code freeze will happen, main branch code freeze will happen before 20 days, so that nobody is allowed to commit the code to that branch till the production deployment is completed. After final testing is completed, 20 days, 30 days before of the code freeze, before deployment, code freeze will happen. So they will remove write permission for all the developers so that we can't commit the repository. Okay. So if we don't have write permission, if you want to get the right permission, then you need to raise a request to the DevOps team to get the access with your manager approval. For example, you don't have a write permission for the repository, you want to do some code commit. Okay. So if you have any if you don't have a write permission, but you want to do some code commit, then you need to request the DevOps team to give the right access for you. For that, you need manager approval. You need to send an email to the DevOps team with the manager approval. Then they will give the right permission for you. And when you join in the project, if you have any confusion with the Git operations or branching strategy, take team members' help. Don't do the mistakes, because if you do a small mistake in the Git repository, it will affect whole project work. It will affect other team members' work if you do a minor mistake also in the repository, because repository means source code. Without code, there is no project. So if you have any confusion in the branching strategy, which branch you need to take, in which branch you need to commit, which branch you need to merge to which branch. So if you have any confusion when you are working in the real-time project, so take the help of your team members. You ask your team lead or your team members to understand the process they are following, because the branching strategy will be different from project to project. In some projects, main branch or master branch they will use for the latest code integration. In some projects, they will use release branch for the production deployment. So in some projects, they will use a feature branch for the development. Some branches develop branch, some projects develop branch. That means which branches we need to use and what is that branching strategy, that will be changing from project to project. So that's why branching strategy will be different from project to project. So if you have any confusion with your project branching strategy, it's better to take the team members' help to get the clarification. Once you got the full clarity, then only you start work with the Git repositories. If you do a mistake in the Git repository, it will affect other team members' work also. Not only your work, it will affect other team members' work also in your project. So you need to be very careful when we are working with version control software like Git. You need to be very careful when we are working with version control software like Git. So read these points, how we are going to work with this Git in the real time. Management will decide repository server, whether you want to go with GitHub or Bitbucket. Management people will decide that. And the management will decide branching strategy. That means which team should use which branch. They will take care of that. Development team should send a request to create Git repository to the DevOps team with manager approval. DevOps team will manage user permissions on the repository. Once a Git repository got created, we can create the branches based on our requirement. As a developer, we will perform the code integration plus branch merging using pull request. Branch merging with the pull request. When there is a production deployment, DevOps team will make code freeze. That means they will remove write permission on the repository. If we don't have write permission to Git repo, then we need to raise request to the DevOps team to get access with your manager approval. If you have any confusion with the repository operations branches, then take the team members' help. We need to be very careful when we are working with the repository operations. If you do a mistake, it will affect other team members' work also. We need to be very careful. We need to be very careful when we are working with the source code repositories, because if we do small mistake, if we do any mistake, it will affect other team members' work also. So you need to be very careful when you are working with this. If you do any small mistake, it will affect other team members' work also. All right. Next one, working with Bitbucket, guys. Let us see how we are going to work with the Bitbucket. Working with Bitbucket. What is Bitbucket? We have seen what is GitHub. What is GitHub? It's a cloud platform. Using GitHub, we can maintain source code repositories for the project. Source code repositories are used to store project to source code at one place. For every project, one Git repository will be created. Git repository will provide monitored access. It will track our code changes. Who modified our code, when they modified our code, will be tracked by GitHub. So similarly, when you go for Bitbucket, Bitbucket is a cloud platform where we can manage source code repositories. GitHub project, GitHub tool, GitHub software developed by Atlassian company. We have seen Jira, right? Jira also developed by Atlassian company. Bitbucket also developed by Atlassian company. Bitbucket software developed by Atlassian company. Using GitHub, Bitbucket software developed by Atlassian company. Bitbucket is used to maintain or manage source code repositories like GitHub. Okay, how we are using GitHub? In the same way, we can use Bitbucket also, right? What is the difference? The difference is these are from two different companies. That's it. GitHub is under license of Microsoft. Bitbucket is under license of Atlassian company. So both are commercial, but trial versions are available. We are using trial versions. So for Bitbucket repositories also, we can use Git as a client software. For Bitbucket repositories, we can use Git as a client. Okay. For GitHub, for Bitbucket, the client is Git only. Git client, Git bash, Git GUI. So whatever the commands that we have used in the Git bash to communicate with the Git repositories, same commands we can use with the Bitbucket repository also. Now let us see how to work with that Bitbucket. So just you go here, open Bitbucket login. This is from Atlassian company. Bitbucket Git solution for teams using Jira. Login into Bitbucket. So if you already have the account in the Bitbucket, you can use your account. I think I'm already having my account. If you don't have, you can create the free account. I think already we have created account for Jira, right? With that you can log in. Yes. I'm trying to log in into my Bitbucket account. So two-step verification, it's not required now. Continue without two-step verification. Yes, I logged in into my Bitbucket account. So here user interface will be good. The rich user interface will be available when we go for Bitbucket. When compared with GitHub, Bitbucket is having rich user interface. Now, do you want to create a repository? Do you want to import the repository? Do you have any pull request? All those things we can see here. Now let me create a new repository. In the GitHub also you can create the repository, public private repositories. In the Bitbucket also you can create the repository. So just click on create repository. It is asking name of the repository. Select project. What is the project? Some HDFC project we are working on. So what is the name that you want? HDFC loans. My project is HDFC loans application. So do you want a private repository or do you want public? I want public. So uncheck this checkbox. Do you want to add the README file? By default, include the git ignore file. What is the default branch name? Main. So here is the screen where you can create the repository. So the project name is HDFC, repository name loans application. I want it as a public. If you select it, it will become private. Otherwise, it is public. Include README file. Okay. Then default branch name main. Include git ignore. Can anyone tell me what is git ignore file, guys? Can anyone tell me what is git ignore file?
It is used to ignore all the
Whatever the files and folders that you don't want to commit, you can ignore them by using .git ignore. Click on create repository. So with this, my Bitbucket repository got created, which is public. Yes. Yeah, with this, my repository got created, which is having .git ignore. Commits, you can see branches, pull request, deployments, Jira, downloads. There are several options available. Clone. So when you click on git clone, directly they are giving the command called git clone command. Copy this one. Then go to our folder and create one folder called Bitbucket practice. Once you have done this cloning, then everything is common. Same git is the client, same commands we are going to use. Open git bash. I'm opening the git bash and paste the command git clone. So with this, I'm cloning my Bitbucket repository. Then let me go inside this repository, HDFC loans app. Right. So the Bitbucket repository got cloned. Currently, only .git ignore file is available. Let me add one file, new folder or new file, anything. So I want to add a new file, text document, which is demo.java, something like this. So now how to add the file to, how to check the status of the working tree, guys? I have cloned my repository. That means I got the working tree. How to check the status of the working tree?
Git status.
Come on, what is the command?
git status.
Git status. File is available. How to add the file to the staging area?
Git add demo.java.
Add demo.java. How to commit this file?
Git commit.
Git commit
-m
Git commit -m message. So we are going to give this as initial commit. Initial commit. Then I want to push my changes. How to push? Git push. Where I am pushing? Git repository or Bitbucket repository?
Bitbucket repository.
It is asking to log in into our Bitbucket account.
Browser.
Okay. So you can use a token also, or you can use sign in with your browser. Click on sign in with your browser. So it is asking to log in into my Bitbucket account. So I will log in into my Bitbucket account. Once the login is successful, then it will push our code changes to Bitbucket repository. So is there anything that is different here?
No.
Is there anything that is different here? My authentication is successful. Now my code is pushed to Bitbucket repository. Now go to Bitbucket and refresh. Check it. Is our code, is our file pushed to the Bitbucket repository now?
Yes,
Yes.
demo.zap.
So that means, can you work with GitHub and Bitbucket both tools?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. If you know one, you can work with another one. So if you want to create the branches, go to branches option. Currently only main branch is available. So you can create a new branch here, create a branch. From the main branch, I want to create another branch called develop branch. Okay, beautiful UI is available. So already project is available with main branch. From the main branch, I'm creating a develop branch. So the new branch is created. Okay, you can create the pull request also. Here, pull request option is available. Click on the pull request. So create a pull request. What is the purpose of a pull request, guys?
To
To
download
copy the code from the one branch to another branch.
If you want to merge the changes
to
from,
report
if you want to merge the code changes from one branch to another branch, then you can go for pull request
Pull
concept.
request.
So do I need to explain separately for the Bitbucket?
No, sir.
Same thing. Whatever that we are doing in the GitHub, same. Only the difference is this is from different application. This is from a different company. This is from different company. So easily we can work with this also.
The commands are same for both the repositories.
Yes,
is it?
same. Commands are same. Only the UI part is different. The commands are same for both GitHub as well as Bitbucket.
All right.
Okay. So guys, so let's talk about the summary part. What we have learned in the GitHub. What we learned in the GitHub.
Can we recover the deleted branch from the Git repo?
Yes, sir.
For example, we have created one feature branch in Bitbucket. After that, I have deleted, but again we need to recover that one. So is it possible?
I think in the free tier account that option is not available, sir. In the license version we can recover.
So do we have any command for that?
Sorry?
Do we have any command for that?
No, no.
Also, sir, if you
Yeah, guys, I will take your questions. I will take your questions. Let me write the summary. At the end, I will take your questions. Okay. So,
Ashok, did you discuss merge versus rebase?
No, sir. There is one command pending. I want to give the task on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Guys, we discussed about what is version control software. What is version control software and why. Okay. Then we discussed about GitHub. We discussed about what is GitHub and GitHub environment setup. We discussed about Git setup, account creation, and client software installation and commands. And we discussed about Git architecture. We discussed about Git architecture. What is working tree? What is local repository? What is staging area? What is central repository? We discussed about Git architecture. Then we discussed about Git bash commands. We discussed about Git architecture. We discussed about Git repository creation. Then we discussed about Git bash commands. So several commands we have seen here, guys. So the commands we discussed here, git init command. We discussed about git init command. We discussed about git status command. We discussed about git add command. We discussed about git restore command. We discussed about git commit command. We discussed about git push command. Okay. And we discussed about git clone command. And we discussed about
Checkout.
Checkout, git push command, git clone command, git pull command, git fetch command, and we discussed about git merge command.
Git log.
And we discussed about git rm command. We discussed about git log command. We discussed about sorry, not get, it is git. Yeah, git rm command, git log command, and we discussed about
Git checkout,
git stash command, git stash apply command, git stash apply command. We discussed about git branch command, and we discussed about git checkout command,
Reward.
git checkout command, git
Reward.
init, git status, git add,
Git merge.
git restore, git commit, push, clone, pull, fetch, match, rm, log, stash apply, branch, checkout, git revert command. We discussed about git revert command. That's it, right? Git config command also we discussed, which is used to configure our name and email.
Yes.
Git config, git init, git status, git add, git restore, git commit, git push, git pull, git fetch, git match, git rm, git log, git stash apply, branch, checkout, revert. These things we have discussed from git bash. And we have also seen how to work with git GUI. Working with git GUI. Okay, you can perform the operations from CLI as well as you can perform operations with GUI also. Okay, and we discussed about working with git branches. Working with git branches. Okay, and we discussed about git conflicts. Working with git branches and pull requests. Okay, and we have seen git conflicts, when we are going to get the git conflicts and how to resolve those git conflicts, git branching strategy, working with git branches and pull requests, working with git branching strategy. Branching strategy is basically deciding when to use which branch, which team should work with which branch, where we need to keep the latest code of the project, that we are going to discuss in the branching strategy. And git conflicts we have seen, how to overcome those git conflicts also we understood. And the next one, real-time workflow, how we are going to work with git in the real time. Okay, who will create the repository, who will manage the permissions, and as a developer, what is our duty? As a developer, we need to send a request to the DevOps team to create the repository. Once they create the repository, they manage the permissions, then you will do the code integrations, you will create the branches, and you will merge the branches according to your requirement. And we have seen basic introduction of Bitbucket. Okay, the only thing is just you need to create the account in the Bitbucket, then create the repository. The remaining operation is the same as Git only. So whatever the commands that we are using with the GitHub, the same commands we can use with the Bitbucket also. Whatever the commands that you are using in the GitHub, same commands you can use with the Bitbucket also. All right. And one question, one interview question, guys. What is the difference between git merge and git rebase? Git merge versus git rebase. One of the famous interview question. Today, I want you people to analyze this and get some answers for git merge versus git rebase. So if you are able to analyze, that is good. If you are not able to, then I will explain the difference between merge command and rebase command. So one concept that is left here, that is git merge versus git rebase. So I want you people to analyze this before coming to tomorrow's session. Tomorrow I will ask some questions on the merge and rebase. And here we have seen git fork also. We have seen git fork. What is the meaning of git forking? Guys, what is the
copy the code from one
Copy the repository from one account to
another
another
account. You want
account.
to copy the repository from one
Copy the
account
repository
to
from
another
one to
account.
another
Then we
account.
are going to use this git
Fork.
forking. Okay. So these are the topics that we have learned from our version control software classes like GitHub and Bitbucket. So we discussed about what is version control and why. We discussed about GitHub introduction, and we have seen Git setup, nothing but account creation and client installation. Git architecture, what is working tree, what is staging area, what is local repository, what is central repository. We discussed in the Git architecture, and we discussed about Git repository creation, public and private repositories are available. Public and private. Public means anybody can see. Private means nobody can see. Git bash commands we have executed to perform the Git operations with Git bash commands. And we are able to work with the GUI. We are able to work with branches and pull requests. And we discussed about branching strategy. GitHub, working with, dealing with the collaborators, adding collaborators. What is the meaning of collaborators, guys? What is the meaning of collaborator?
Basically, the contributors who have the right
Contributors who are giving the permission for other developers to commit the changes to our repository. So by default, nobody can commit the changes to our repository. If you want someone to commit the changes to your repository, then we are going to add them as a collaborator. You can add, you can remove the collaborators in the settings option. And Git conflicts we have seen. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of Git conflict? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of Git conflict?
Yeah, if the two developers will do the code changes at the same line.
Yes, if two or more
conflict
developers
will
working on the same file, same line, then there is a chance of getting the conflict problem. Whenever the conflict problem occurs, then it is our responsibility to resolve the conflict. It is our responsibility to resolve the conflict problem. And it is our responsibility to resolve the conflict problem, and we need to commit the code changes without any conflict. We need to commit the code changes without any conflict. Then what is Git forking?
To copy the code from one account.
What is the meaning of Git forking, guys?
Getting the copy of code.
Getting the account, getting the repository from one account to another
from
account
one
is
account
called
to
as
another account.
Git forking. Okay, next one, real-time workflow that we understood, and Bitbucket also we have seen. The only difference is user interface in the GitHub and Bitbucket. GitHub is managing by Microsoft, Bitbucket is managing by Atlassian company. But working with both, the work process is same. So I have given one assignment for you. I want you people to analyze what is the difference between merge command and rebase command before coming to tomorrow's session. Okay, good guys. So with this, we are done with our tool, that is GitHub and Bitbucket. So as of now, in the JRTP, we completed Jira, we completed Maven, we completed Git and Bitbucket. Thank you.